Howdy folks, welcome back to Out of Ore. We're here in the frozen north and I've bought some equipment. I still have that excavator, but it was just too slow and cumbersome. So yeah, we bought an L11. It's the best. And I built a little bit of a ramp. Let's see if I can get up the ramp here. I want to clear out some of this so I can get the rock truck back in here next to this excavator. I am going to dig pay dirt with this excavator, at least for a while. That's the plan. It is very inefficient and slow, but I do want to use the new rope shovels a little bit. So we're going to use it to dig. So whoa, dig some pay dirt. This is not the ideal setup. I wanted a little bit of a ramp so I could more easily get up there. It's a little tight. Still not sure 100% what I'm going to do about dumping out the rock truck, but we'll cross that bridge in a bit. Close that up. I did find out I've got my controller hooked up. I've got an Xbox controller, USB. It's actually a Logitech, but it's Xbox style. And I've been playing some moto trials with that. And lo and behold, it's set up by default in Out of Ore. They don't even have to bind anything. It already has a control set up. So I was using that a little bit with the rope excavator up there on the hill. Don't have the joysticks hooked up at the moment. So I might just use the controller on that, because I'm very comfortable with the mouse and keyboard doing the wheel loader. Because it's a lot like using the front loader in Farm Sim. And I have a lot of hours doing that over the years. Uh-oh. Ran into the excavator a little bit there. I'm really surprised at the amount of coal I'm finding up here, because I sure didn't find any when I was prospecting. Maybe it's a little spotty, and I just happened to miss it. We're getting a bunch of coal out of here. So the plan is to dig into the side of the hill here. We'll kind of see how the pay dirt plays out. We're getting into a little bit of pay dirt here, just using the wheel loader. So let me try to get back in here a little bit again. And not hit the excavator. We'll start digging some of that out with the excavator and get it in the rock truck. And then I'll probably build some kind of other little side dump here. And tie that in. I think I could maybe just chain another one of these. Oops, I keep accidentally hitting the spacebar. Maybe chain another one of these hoppers into the side there. That might work. So let's just shut this guy down right here for now. I know in reality you'd probably leave it running because it's cold and you want it to stay warmed up, but they don't simulate any kind of that stuff. Yeah, we got a bunch of pay dirt. So we're gonna get back in here. If the pay dirt doesn't follow the slope, then we may end up, lowering this down and doing something different. But for now, I think this might work. So let's hop in the rock truck. And let's get that backed into here. Is that low enough? Oh, yeah. Beautiful. And then we'll hop in here, and I'm going to switch back over to my controller. And we'll see how badly this goes. I'm going to turn the controls back on because it... there it goes. So it is left button... Nope. What? Apparently right stick changes vehicles? Left button plus right press is supposed to dump the bucket, but it doesn't. it switches vehicles. Okay. What does X do? X is inventory. So left button, I mean, that works for all the other functions. You can swing that. I assume that meant click. It looks like it would mean click on the right stick. If I click left stick. No, that's zooming in. Oops. Huh. Okay, well I think, was it Q? I don't remember what the, what's the default control for dumping them out. I think I had it set up on my, joystick. It was boom up, open hatch. Oh, it's shift Q, right. We go look at controller. Yeah, left button plus right stick push. It's not picking up the modifier. That's supposed to be zoom in and out, but it's switch cameras. Y. So this just, like if I click right button with no modifier, it switches camera, which is supposed to be Y. Interesting. So that's wrong. That's broken. What happens if I hit Y? It just switches cameras inside. So that looks like that works. Left button. I'm for sure pushing in left button because these functions work. And then right click on the stick. Yeah, that definitely changes vehicles. Weird. Okay, well, shift Q on the keyboard it is then. And then we need to get this guy in a little bit, and then he should close up. There he goes. Trying to scoop, but I really want to use these rope shovels, but man, they do not work well at all. Now I've shifted. If I take off the brake, we can pivot in place. Parking brake back on. I think I might have to go a little deeper. Because as you can see, that doesn't work very well. Alright, shift Q on the keyboard. There we go. So I'll keep playing around with it. We'll see see what we can do here. Alright, so that is down, and that lets the cable out. Yeah, alright. So I need to go... No, that's running the cable, and this is running the piston. Got it. They were getting a little bit of a scoop. Takes me a little bit to get used to this thing. Really wish I could dump on the controller, but this will work for now. Alright, so lower cable. That snaps back in place. Push out. Same time we raise on the cable. And we just don't get much scooping action at all. Unfortunately. Alright, bring piston back in. Same time we'll lower the cable. Well, we got a little bit in the bucket. It's not much, but it's a little bit. We'll keep plugging away at it. I am recording this before some late night work, so I'm keeping an eye on the clock as well. We'll have to put a cut in here. I do plan to finish up the video tonight. It's about 10 o'clock at night. No rest for the weary. I don't have to do a lot of night work. Occasionally I do. That's the life of IT. Still... Okay, so yeah, that's the piston. I'm still getting used to what does what here. So that pushes out. That's really as low as I can go. That's as far out as I can go. So I think I need to track forward a little bit. So park and brake off. Look at that. Tracks aren't even moving. Nice. Animation is not tied to the speed quite correctly, it looks like. Alright, and then let's swing around, and then I want to bring the piston in, the rope down, and then piston back out. Push that forward. Get a little bit of scoop in action. There we go. If you get just the right angle, it does work really well. It's just getting that angle right. We are slowly putting stuff in the truck. We're not going to win any speed races here. All right. Piston back in, rope down. Oops. The view is inverted from what I'm expecting. Let me change that real quick. So if I go to settings, camera, vehicle camera. I want vehicle camera, third person. There it is. So I want up to be up on that stick and down here. Rather than inverting it, I'll do that. There we go. That's what I'm used to. Alright, let's get a little bit of this stuff here cleaned up if we can. So that would be cable down, piston out. Keep pushing piston out and then bring the cable up. It kinda, man, we couldn't really scoop very much off that wall. Then that's as high up as we can reach. And it just doesn't want to... I should be scooping right there, but it doesn't want to do it. Alright, cable up. I can't quite tell the angle here. Let's put this... We just got a little tiny bit in the bucket. We'll drop that right there. Then piston back, cable down. Let that snap back in place. Parking brake off. Inch forward. So now my boom is into the dirt. Just not great. Ooh, fuel low. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get some fuel in here. So if we do cable up, I can't get an angle that wants to scoop here. So I can't get that overhead lip, unfortunately. So we're kind of stuck here. I'm gonna have to do some hand mining, I guess. Whoa, not quite that far. And what was engine? I'm not sure. I don't see it on there. We can just hit enter though on the keyboard. So we need fuel. That much I know. Also, I need some way to dump this rock truck in here, so let's sort those two out. I kind of want a fuel truck so I can drive around and refuel things. But I know the fuel truck, it's not exactly off-road, but if I remember right from last season, it did go off-road fairly well, actually. So if we go look at fuel trucks, 197 grand. Ouch. All right, I got some work to do. I'm going to put a cut in here, and we'll continue after the cut. All right, let's get this thing deployed. And of course, wow, that's got a lot of wheels, doesn't it? Can we do chains on the duals? How does that work? If we hop in here, all black truck. It'd be nice and warm up here. Okay, so it does have the dual wheels. Interesting. So I want an orange. And then if I search for chain, I know I'm going to need at least two. Let's buy a couple of those. So if I put those on there, does that turn into a truck wheel? Yes. What about that? Is that a dual chained wheel? No, it just stretches it. Oh, that's pretty funny. Okay, I don't think there is a dual chained wheel. And I think that's going to look kind of silly. So let's just leave the duals on there. We'll have chains on the front. A little extra grip on the steering. I don't know if this is like 8-wheel drive or whatever. But we do want to get rid of the black. There we go. Then this does have a little bit of fuel in it, I believe. Oh yeah, I forgot how weird the steering is. Can I do the... Yeah, I can do it with the controller. Even with the controller, its steering is pretty frisky. Sure. That looks safe. Refuel out of there, right? So let's go sell that. Sell off some dirt. Tank empty. No fuel nearby for transfer. Oh, right. This doesn't have any in the tank by default. Forgot about that. So I will need to buy an actual fuel stand. So that's a thing, and that's fine. Looks like I got a little overzealous in the dumping. Smooth it out like it never even happened. Throw some stuff in there. So let's take a look at getting something where we could dump this rock truck. And to do that, we're going to have to get rid of that. Possibly that. And then we want... So we go to factory conveyors. I think we want the big hopper. And we want it to be over here basically, but yeah, so we'd want a right-hand conveyor. So we want a right-hand conveyor. That will go in there. And if that was in there, we could build up a ramp for that rock truck to come over and dump into that. And I think that would work. And then we can put our power input back over here. Like that. And then I think we'll get another power pole. Snap build is what we want. All right, so we'll come out to I really wish you could snap to the edge. You'd have to kind of have more of an edge there. Wrong tool. So we'll end up with something like this. Come on. Put you there, and we'll put one there, and then that guy can go there. And then we need our right-hand guy. Snap onto that. That guy to snap onto that. That guy to snap onto that. We need some power cable. Go from there to there, and from there over to there. Yeah, something like that. Then everything is nice and happy. You can turn that on. Got plenty of coal for now. Turn that on. And everything should start, yeah, everything should start flowing through. We should probably end up with a little bit of pay dirt in here. So we'll be redoing that probably in the next episode to start capturing pay dirt. Not sure how long this episode is going to be. Yeah, then we just need a platform here. So let's come out with some concrete and we'll kind of build it up with some wood timbers. So we can build into here. Or not build into here, dump into here. Super sensitive. Like that, and then we will come up like that. Then I'll probably get the dozer over here and try to build up some dirt. Make a dirt ramp up onto that. I think that'll work. Should I top that off? I think it might look better if I top that off with wood. So let's go back over here to buildings, wood. And we'll get some wood floor. I didn't look and see how many I needed. We'll just grab 20 of those. Man, that stuff's expensive. I remember now why I was doing all my own. Building all my own stuff on the last map. But we don't have the luxury of trees up here in the Arctic. So we're going to spend some of that money we earned in Season 4. There we go, something like that. And then we'll get the dozer over here. Get that sorted out. All right, did we run all the material through? No, it is still running. Just about out. Did we end up with pay dirt in here? I'm pretty sure I scooped some pay dirt with the front loader. Well, we got a whole stack of dirt already. We could sell that. A stack of dirt sell for 13 grand. We'll get a little bit of money back. We should have just all coal in here. Yep. Loads of coal. So the power plant, in case you didn't know, the power plant, you can pipe it in and then it will, I think it keeps itself kind of half full. It'll pull from here into here automatically. You don't have to go and click and drag it all the time. All right, where do I want to take the dirt from? I have tons of dirt here. How much pay dirt do I have? I'm just going to have a little bit of pay dirt in there. Alright, let's see if we can move some dirt. I'm going to be back with mouse and keyboard on the dozer. We'll see how that goes. It's a little finicky. And I had a good suggestion. I've done manual speed before. I should change this to a manual transmission. I don't think I can do that on an individual basis. I kind of forget. Let's go look in the settings, controls. Dozer. Can I change the gear mode here? I think that's strictly a vehicle setting. If I set it to... where do I set that? General? Yeah. So I have to set it in here. So it's across the board. So now we can't go anywhere unless we put it in gear. I thought it was F and V. No? Now if we go back to controls, dozer, did it have a shift? No, I think that's up here in gearbox. Oh, that's just hydrostatic. Oh, sequential. I need to set it to sequential. Gearbox is sequential. There we go. Then I can just do the F and V. There we go. Now we're in drive 1. That helps you go a little slower. It can help you maintain your speed a little better. So I wonder... it's doing weird stuff. Let's try to cut like from here and then push down. And we'll see how hilariously wrong that goes. Alright, now it does work like throttle and brake. Basically, we'll still be doing an S. I think I'm going to... let me change up the controls on the dozer and see if that makes it a little easier. Controls... dozer. So instead of... no, I don't want tilt. I want tilt in, tilt out. Yeah, let's clear that. So clear. Clear. And then this I want to be right mouse. Sorry, left mouse. Let's try that, see if that does what I wanted to do. Nope, that is backwards. I did it. Did I do that backwards? Oops, sorry. bump the mic. Amateur hour. Tilt. Oh yeah, that's right. The tilt in, tilt out is backwards from what I'm expecting. I remember that now from setting up the joysticks. Okay, let's try that. We're in park. I want to be in drive 1. And then I want to try to cut into this hill a little bit. Well, that didn't necessarily work out. But I want to get some material started moving downhill, was the idea. Gotta get used to shifting on the keyboard. Now you can get fancier dozers, I think, that will move the blade like different ways, but that's a little much for me on a mouse and keyboard. We'll keep it simple, stupid. Alright, let's start pushing this, and we'll try to smooth it up best we can. I might need to get a roller bot. I don't know if I can really round the corner like I want to. But I'm not tilting the blade, which technically you probably should be doing, but it gets all off kilter, and then for me it's hard to recover, so. Sort of, kind of doing what was in my head. We'll see if we can move some of this material over and make the rest of the little bit of a ramp. Alright, back into drive 1. Like I was saying in some replies to comments, I know how to work around the just general silliness of the dozer, but I don't want to have to do that. I want it to work kind of naturally. I want it to feel like a big heavy machine cutting through the earth, not a styrofoam toy. I understand that's a hard technical problem. Alright, let's get a little more of this pushed down. We'll see if we can smooth the approach any. Yeah. It's a start. Let's get over on the other side here and start pushing some of this up. I mean, it's starting to sort of look like a ramp. Sort of, kind of, maybe. Try pushing a little of this in from the side. Whoa, stop. Yeah, that didn't exactly work out. We got some stuff moved. Let's smooth it out a bit. Kind of see where we stand. Where we stand is we need to move a lot of dirt by hand, but yeah, we got kind of the semblance of a road down to here. It's not terrible per se. I'm going to say it's super awesome. But what are they running over here? Oh, did I leave the rope shovel running? Oops. My bad. Okay, we should have a bunch of dirt over here, so let's go turn the coal burner off. Don't need that running. I didn't end up with any pay dirt, really? I would have swore I scooped up pay dirt with the wheel loader. I don't see any in there. That's kind of suspicious. Kind of suspicious. So you can also place dirt by hand. That's an option. Then you just whack it with a shovel. Yeah, this needs a little help. It resembles a ramp. I'll give it that. It does resemble a ramp. Dozer sounds good sitting there idling. Alright, let's see if we can back in there and dump into the hopper. Does that work? Oh, right. Forgot I'm in manual transmission now and everything. There we go. This should definitely have pay dirt in it. We'll see what the hopper says. All right. There we go. Let's see if we got some pay dirt in here. Hey, a little tiny bit of pay dirt. Look at that. All right, cool. Well, we have a little bit of a plan here. We can dump. We got some pay dirt coming out. The dozer sort of works. The rope excavator is slow, but workable. I'm going to keep using it for a bit. I do need to clean up the overhead ledge there. Probably just do that by hand so we can get in there a little further. And I might have to lower this one block as well if we don't follow the slope with the pay dirt. But yeah, next episode, we're going to extend our plant a little bit here so we can start processing that pay dirt into something valuable. And we'll take it from there. The journey continues. Thanks for coming along. And I'll catch you in the next episode. Take care.